Okay, egg on my face. I screwed up a little bit. I accidentally hit the stop streaming button. And so I had to restart the stream, and that means that we are no longer connected to our usual scheduled morning show. But here we are. I'm going to sit here and just kind of chit-chat with Cameron while everybody catches back up to us. Let me take a peek real quick at the channel and see what happened over there. So my mistake, I hit the wrong button. Sorry guys. I see several of you have already found us back. I've got Dave, I've got Krista. Hopefully Steve finds us. He was over there waiting to watch the regular live show. Okay, there's Steve. Good stuff. So yeah, we were streaming, we were ready to go, and then I accidentally hit the button to stop the stream instead of the button to do the thing. So that means I've got lots of extra work to do today when we get off the show. How you holding up this morning, Cameron?
I'm good. Real quick, I feel like we've got to give Alex Bleeping Jones of Base Prism a shout out. He crossed the first big threshold, man. He's got a decimal point in his sub count now. Sort of like getting a comma in your paycheck.
Yeah. And actually it's very much like getting an improvement on your paycheck generally. His crossing that threshold means that his channel can now be well, it's going to depend on his watch time, but I believe he's got it. But it means that he should be able to monetize officially as a YouTube partner, assuming that his videos aren't all just automatically demonetized for content. But technically, as long as he's not running astray of the rules and getting the ban hammer dropped on him a lot, that 1K follower mark, that means partnership program and monetization. So that's awesome. You know, like we've talked about before the adpocalypse happened, we were in the partnership program and our channel was monetized, and then they changed all the rules. So we've got to get back up to that 1,000 threshold again, and then we'll be back in business. Until then, we're just doing this for fun because I like to have a cup of coffee with my friends in the morning. Maybe I should memorize Scott Adams' little poem.
Take her to a chalice, or however he says it.
Yes.
The unparalleled perfection of simultaneous sip. But plus, it's bragging rights. If you think about it, YouTube channels are sort of like businesses. I wonder how many of them just utterly fail before they ever even launch. You know, breaking 1,000 subs. I bet we're talking about something that 50% of the people, maybe more, maybe as high as 90, maybe even 99%.
Okay, you're breaking up, but I'm gonna pull up a little bit of data to solidify your point there and give everybody else a minute to catch back up. I'm gonna pull up Social Blade, and I'm not gonna show what I'm looking at, but I'll read the numbers off to you to kind of tell you what it looks like. So I'm looking, or you know what, hell, I'll show it to you. So this is Social Blade. Our channel is rated C+, on the total grade. So we are rated 9.5 millionth in the Social Blade rank. We are 1.2 millionth in the country rank out of how many, and we've been enjoying some pretty good growth recently. But you know, we've got almost 35,000 views, 646 uploads. We'll have to do a special show for the Mark of the Beast and talk about, hopefully we'll be able to talk about the vaccine stuff there. But yeah, our estimated yearly earnings on this channel right now are between $3 and $52 annually. Like I said, we don't do this one for the money. That's what the other business is for. But that's, you know, we're 1.5 millionth out of how many YouTube channels are there? Out of about 34 million YouTube channels, and we have almost 400 subscribers. So a little perspective there when you're talking about channels that actually break the 1,000 mark, just the 1,000 mark. You're not even talking about the big channels like your Tim Pools and Louder with Crowder channels that break up into the 1 million. You know, Crowder I think is at 4 or 5 million now. Just the channels that break the 1,000 are in the less than 1% club. Our channel, doing as well as it is in the like 5% club, 10% club maybe. So that's, yeah, absolute kudos to Alex Bleeping Jones out there. Good job, brother. Good job. And I like to think that we had a little bit of a hand in helping him make that mark. Not much of one, but a little bit. And he certainly had a hand. He certainly had a big hand in at least our last 40 or 50 subscribers. So big kudos and a big thank you to Alex Bleeping Jones. So after our little hiccup and false start this morning,
let's do it.
Let's do it. Cameron, do you want to have the honor to announce this day's topic?
Oh my God, yes, and it is a toter win. When I
let me just brush off the console. There we go.
When I conceived of the toter win, it was things like this that I had in mind when I said, "Hey Chris, let's do toter win Thursday." And here we go. Joe Biden is gonna finish Trump's wall. I love it.
And here we go.
This guy so much sack. He protect, he attack. This guy no more homo erotic rocket ranches. Got it? Got it. Oh jeez. So much wang.
That's right. So much wang that the Trump administration is still running the Biden administration with, shall we say, a cock puppet.
I love it. Oh, and I love, okay, just, there's a few different angles here, but let me just start with how much I love the salt mines that come from this. I follow the squad on Twitter, not because I respect them an iota, but because, you know, it's opposition research. It's know your enemy. And Ilhan Omar in particular is very upset about Joe Biden finishing Trump's racist wall. And it's just like, I love it. Your tears are delicious. I would bathe in them if I could.
The salt mines are rich today. Omar, from Fox News Omar says it's shameful and unacceptable for Biden to continue the construction of Trump border wall. And there's her tweet right there, which I imagine has been, no, I don't have to imagine. I can see the numbers right here. It's been hard ratioed. So, dear Democrats, America doesn't like you.
Yeah, especially when they're honest, man. That's the thing. We said it so many times that the Democrats have to be dishonest. You know, like the whole Green New Deal. If they would just tell people, well, actually, we're going to make it expensive to drive and heat your home, nobody would support it, right? And it's the same thing with Obamacare and so forth and so on. And this is another example of it. She comes out, she wears her heart right on her sleeve, and everybody thinks she's an idiot. And then, weren't you telling me about a New York Times article yesterday as we were setting up the prep for this?
Oh, yeah. This is an article from the New York Times from 3 days ago, April 5th. New York Times, opinion, Biden should finish the wall, ... or the next Trump will. So we got Brett Stevens, opinion columnist. The most harrowing story I've read in the Times in recent days was Miriam Jordan's account of a car crash last month in Southern California involving a Ford Expedition that had come from Mexico straight through a breach in the border wall. The Ford was crammed with 25 people when it hit a tractor-trailer rig en route 115,110 miles east of San Diego. Few of the survivors have been able to describe what happened next, Jordan writes. The crunch of metal and glass. The bodies flung dozens of feet across the pavement. 12 people died on the spot. A 13th at a nearby hospital. Jordan follows the story of the victims and survivors, and there's a heartbreaking sameness to them. People who have been driven by fear or want from their homes in Mexico and Central America, false, and who are willing to take grave risks and pay exorbitant sums to make it to the United States. These are not terrorists, gang members, lowlifes, benefit seekers, or yes, they are. Yes, son, they are.
Yeah, can I just pause you real quick? Just the cognitive dissonance, the fact that the Democrat mind is able to hold opposing viewpoints at the same time. As in this case, there's no such thing as a shithole country, but America sucks. But all these people want to come to America because their country back home is a shithole.
I wish you hadn't cut me off to make that point. Let me back up. These are not terrorists, gang members, lowlifes, benefit seekers, or, except in their willingness to violate U.S. immigration laws, lawbreakers. They are seekers of the American dream, worthy of our compassion and respect. No, they're not. They're not worthy of our compassion and respect. And let me tell you why. Right there, except their willingness to violate U.S. immigration laws. Lawbreakers. Here's the thing you need to understand about hostile foreign invaders. They have an option. And I know, it sounds like it's easy to say from where I sit, comfortably in America as an American citizen. But need I remind you, I have seen these places. I have been to places where a bad government has made a bad world worse than it needed to be. And I have seen the people that are there. They are not trying. So the people that he's talking about, especially the grown-ass, military-aged men who could fight, they are choosing, rather than to take their country back and build a country, they are choosing to invade our country for the sole purpose of stealing from us money that is earned by our citizens, which is taken from those citizens at gunpoint by the government that people you know continue to re-elect, and then redistribute to the less adequate. I never say the less fortunate, because with very, very few exceptions, bad situations are the results of bad choices. The less adequate, people who choose poorly. Now,
yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The biggest, I was just going to say that if you ever want to really set yourself free, learn to embrace this paradox. Treat everything in your life as though it's all your fault.
No, I disagree. I would take it a step further. This is a conversation that I've had with many.
So you don't really disagree. You just agree more. Plus.
No. I'm gonna draw a bright line distinction between fault and another concept here. But first, let me throw this out there. This is a conversation that I've had. I know you and I have had it, Cameron, but I've had this conversation with Christians who are dear friends over and over for a very, very long time. I am happy to make the argument that everyone should live their lives as if God will not forgive you for anything, right? And so part of the point there is, without considering whether or not you're a Christian and believe that God's grace can wash away your sins, take that out of the equation for a moment when you're making a decision, and make your decision as if, in the case you choose to sin, God will not forgive you. Right? Go ahead and act as if your sins cannot be forgiven. Now, if you operate under the premise that no matter what sin you commit, you may ask God for forgiveness and receive it, then it's actually just a little bit easier to make bad choices. But if nobody is going to pay your debts for you, and that's the basis on which you have to make your decisions, you're in a more careful decision-making position. If you can, so assume there is a hell and you will go there for your sins, and that God will not forgive those sins under any circumstances, and then make your decision. I'm not telling you to discard your faith. I'm not telling you to actually believe that this is the case. I'm telling you to use it as the baseline on which you make your decisions.
Right.
As in, choose not to sin. So going back to the question of fault, you said act like everything's your fault. I say nay, nay. Act like it's your responsibility. As in, whether or not a bad thing is going to happen because you made a bad choice, treat the probable outcome that is easily predictable as if the correction of that outcome, the balancing of that debt, will be your responsibility. The bright line distinction there.
You can be at fault for good things happening too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but
anyhow.
But
anyhow, they won't stay home and act like things are their responsibility.
Okay, hold on just a sec. There is a bright line distinction here. Just because something's your fault doesn't mean you take responsibility for it. That's the distinction I'm making here. If you act like it is actually your responsibility rather than your fault, if it's my fault that the whole world sucks, I don't have to do anything about that. If it's my responsibility that the whole world sucks, that's a very different claim. I have an obligation there. So when you look at these people, they are seekers of the American dream, worthy of our compassion and respect. No, they have chosen not to take the responsibility in their own countries. And by a wide margin, and we can go back to fault a little bit here, when we're talking about people coming up from Mexico and Central America, we're talking about people who voted in what eventually became the tyrannical socialist and communist governments that are destroying places like Venezuela. They are actually responsible for their own situations. Not philosophically, not theoretically, but factually. They are individually responsible for their own suffering. And like one time I told my favorite drill sergeant, Sonny Dale Hyde. I came into the day room. He was smoking the shit out of about 30 privates. I looked around at all of them doing push-ups, and I dropped down and I started doing push-ups because that's what you're supposed to do. And then I had the gall to ask, "Drill sergeant, why are we doing push-ups?" And he told me what one of those privates had done, and it was a stupid thing. And it was the kind of thing that he should have known better. And I immediately stood up and I looked at the drill sergeant and I said, "Drill sergeant, the United States Army needs me to stop my battle buddy before he runs into a minefield. But the United States Army cannot afford for me to chase his dumb ass in after I've already said, 'There's a sign, stupid!'" And I left. Sonny Dale is now one of my most amusing friends on Facebook, by the way.
Right. Josie Cruz, love her. She's awesome. but she talks about this. Okay, I can put the sentence together. When she talks about how similar the Democrat Party's rhetoric is to the thing Chavez was saying 25 years ago, it's part of why she felt compelled to run, why she says the things that she says, and why she's fearless. I swear she's going to get kicked off of Facebook and Twitter and all that. It's happen.
Well, real
she
quick
just
context.
Won't back down.
Real quick context for everybody that's watching. Josie Cruz, we know her personally. She ran against Hank Johnson for the House in the last election. She did not win, unfortunately, but she is a Venezuelan expat who is now an American citizen and local politician. And she's an absolute privilege to listen to her speeches because she's so very animated and her accent is so thick and she is so passionate. And Donald Trump is my president because he said that America will never be a socialist country. She will get you on your feet, guaranteed.
Yes. One other thing too, I love what Jen Psaki, and yes, I know it's actually Jen Psaki. So
no, it's not.
Anyhow,
there's a P in there. It's just like pterodactyl. P psychotic.
Yes.
But fuck yourself. It's pronounced.
Right. Anyhow, I think it was Jen Psaki. Man, I heard one quote directly from her where she said that I think Fox News asked about children being thrown over the wall and they're obviously being smuggled, and she kind of has this flippant attitude, like, are you asking about the security of the wall or are you asking about the safety of the children? And it's like, bitch, it's the same thing. But
or maybe it's two different, or you know what? Here, look, maybe it is two different things, and they both matter to a lesser or greater extent, and the difference between how much they matter doesn't. Are you worried about people having access to vaccines, or are you worried about people getting diseases? Yes.
Exactly. But I love
or
how
no, I don't. I'm not sure now because you're an idiot, and that confuses me.
Your stupidity is like a cancer that's contagious. It's awful. Oh, but I love how their excuse goes something along the lines of, well, we just need to fill in the gaps. Well, wait a minute.
Wait, what? Your stupid tastes like lemons and razor blades.
It hurts. It's like when you eat something really sour and you feel your jaw clamp up. Like
it sounds like dog shit, and it smells like nails on a chalkboard. And you're just, I think I've just gone blind in my left ear.
Oh. But yeah, between the New York Times column and the admission that, oh yeah, we just need to fill in the gaps and make some repairs and stuff like that. I mean, that's admitting top to bottom that not only was Trump right, but everybody that's even had a passing interest in this issue, that's like, no, we should actually defend our border for a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, even just...
I was about, for example, people like, I don't know, Joe Biden and Barack Obama, who said build the wall, build a barrier, who said we can't let people come into this country illegally, right? They both said that in the 2008 and the 2012 campaigns. And then, you fast forward to former Vice President Joe Biden being the current resident of the White House, and the frickin' this isn't just a tacit. This isn't just a tacit admission that Trump was right about everything. This is a tacit confession that the Biden administration could not have been more wrong. On day one, he issued an executive order to cease construction on the border wall. Understand what this means. It's not just that he decided not to fund the border wall further. That's not what happened. He took the border wall, which was under construction, with materials already funded, purchased, and delivered, with heavy equipment already rented or purchased and in place to operate, with workers already employed building the wall, and he simply halted it. He said, screw all that money, just flush it down the toilet, and just like a shithead president trying to pull out of a war zone without a good plan, he just left all the shit right there on the ground, just left it there. Right? That's one of the things that pisses me off more than anything about our last several presidents is, oh, we're gonna get out of the Middle East. Okay, would you do me a small favor? Bring the tanks and the damn guns back with you. Maybe. You know, I mean, let's say the tanks and the guns have too much sand in them to be useful anymore to anybody but a bunch of terrorists that are going to just go ahead and steal them once we walk away. Okay, so bring them back and melt them down and build something else. I don't know, like new tanks. You left a fleet of battleships worth of frickin' tank steel in the desert for nothing.
Yeah.
I think Meatloaf said it best. I want my money back.
Okay. I guess I missed it.
Life is a lemon and I want my money back?
I don't know, man. I haven't listened to Meatloaf in a long time.
What about love? It's defective. It's never meant to really last. What about your family? It's defective. All the parts are out of stock. Life is a lemon and I want my money back. Anyway.
Wow, that's really depressing.
It is. It's an incredibly depressing song, but it's musically fantastic. It's technically excellent. It is, and in fact, it's lyrically well composed and beautiful. But, whew, it's if you make the mistake of slowing down for a moment to think about it, it's really dark.
Sounds like the kind of thing you drink a little too much whiskey and then listen to and cry.
It's the kind of dark that your perspective should be when you slow down to think about the facts surrounding the election of Joe Biden.
Oh,
and
played.
And make no mistake, I'm not making any claim here about amphibian priapism. I'm happy to assume at this point that the election was free and fair, and here's why that's terrifying. That if that's the case, that means that people voted for this. They voted for Joe Biden. I cannot stress enough. You do not know people who voted for Biden and for America. Those people do not exist. You only know people who voted for Biden and against the interests of the American people. There are no other people.
I had a really fascinating encounter years ago. Back when I was running the insurance route, I bumped into a landlord of one of the properties I was servicing, and he had Obama stickers on his truck, but was bitching about something with regard to health care. And I just stuck my nose in, where I probably shouldn't have in hindsight, and said to him, so, well, man, if you hate it so much, why'd you vote for it? And he said something very interesting to me. This is not what I voted for. And of course I'm like, well, yes, it is. And he's like, no, it's really not. I voted for, and he went into his liberal pie in the sky, what he thought he was voting for. There is a large swath of these voters that sincerely believes they are voting for the greater good. They're shocked when it doesn't work, and we're right. And
yes, it's possible for a person to be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm not saying they're in any way correct. I'm just saying there are people that really think these are pro-American votes that they're casting. They don't understand legitimately why we are like, no, no, hold on. I don't want the detention facilities to be at 700% capacity. I mean, that's a legit humanitarian crisis. Okay, that's sorry, doesn't
Yeah,
work for
they're over
me.
750, so if you're going to round to 8.
Okay, buddy.
It's funny. You know what the Biden administration immigration policy has in common with it has a very interesting thing in common with the Obama administration policy on healthcare.
What's that, buddy?
Nearly 1,000% increase.
Well
in
played.
the part that you don't want. The premiums and the criminals. You got a near 1,000% increase in insurance premiums out of Obama and a near 1,000% increase in the criminal aliens, the hostile foreign invaders under Biden.
Awesome.
Yeah, Democrats are very, very good at creating problems that they never intend to solve so that they can run on them perpetually. That's the thing that made them hate Donald Trump more than any other Republican. Republicans generally just sit there and do nothing. The best you can hope for from a Republican under most circumstances is that they will screw this country up a little bit slower than the Democrats, or that they will slow the Democrats down. But Donald Trump got in office and started actually solving problems for the first time in generations, and that scared the hell out of professional career politicians who were terrified that they were going to have to think of a new problem to try and solve when all the problems went away.
Yeah,
The only
And it
thing
can't be-
scarier than Trump solving problems for one term and making it harder for them to run for office was if, at the rate he was going, one more term, we might have run out of a need for government, period. I confess to a bit of hyperbole,
yes.
but just a bit.
Yes. Okay. Should we tease some of what we're gonna have to talk about tomorrow? Because holy shit, what appears to be coming down the pipe.
Oh, hold on. Before you do that, I just want to revel just a little bit. Let me just remind you one more time, guys, why we're here this morning. Because Joe Biden is going to have to finish Donald Trump's border wall. So let me just give you one more little taste of that goodness.
I'll give a rat's ass what the hell you think.
And I'm sorry, Cameron, I don't think I shared the audio with you, but I just ran the Snake Girl sounder as well.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, okay. So speaking of other things that we're right about, like, I mean, we're fucking Nostradamus on this channel recently.
recently.
I'm just saying we're having a string of confirmations, dude.
By recently, he means the last 7 years. Arr!
Anyway.
That's cool.
But
Make
no.
your point. I'm running out of coffee now.
Thank you. Obama's going to release, not Obama, former Vice President Biden is going to release some executive orders and make some very strong suggestions today about guns. And rumor has it that it's going to include ghost guns, which is basically buying an unfinished gun without a serial number, and then you finish building it yourself, effectively giving you a gun without a serial number. Which is, I mean, you want to talk about like 1% of 1% of firearms in circulation. And then a few other things. The thing that is the most disturbing to me is it looks like we're going to have some red flag laws that end up, and I don't know how he can make them happen with executive order without a legislative component, because it's such a massive violation of the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, not to mention the Second. But out of everything that's coming, the red flag laws are the most terrifying to me personally, because I'm sure that won't get abused at all.
Right.
But anyhow, for tomorrow, for Firearms Friday, since it is Firearms Friday, we're going to see what executive orders come down, and we will give some analysis when they do. So come back tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll be reading those executive orders today. I do it for you guys. And hey, do me a favor. I got a bunch of people watching right now. Do us a favor. Our videos now, after they have published on YouTube, there's a link in the description on most our videos, all of them in the last 3 or 4 months at least. There's a link in the description. Throw us a tip. If you can leave a little tip, a little something in that description, we could take that and spend it on, say, an ad buy to spread the channel and grow the message, or to upgrade the equipment available to us. Now, in fairness, we have excellent equipment available to us, and hopefully we've got some things in the pipes right now that should be interesting in the future. We just bought a new little piece of paraphernalia yesterday to start doing the live remotes with. That was fun designing that last night, wasn't it, Cameron? Cameron can lie and tell you that he enjoyed himself, but he was really just sitting there listening to me quietly designing, and then sending in pictures and saying, how about this one? But yeah, so do us a solid. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you've already subscribed. Leave comments under the videos themselves, not just the live chat here. We appreciate the live chat activity, and good God, I really appreciate the live chat activity. You guys are fantastic. We get excellent. Hey, Sergeant Major says he put my trash out for me. I was just about to sign off and go do that, Dad, but I appreciate you. Love you. Thanks for watching. But I appreciate the hell out of you guys in our chat. Y'all make this show. Honestly, we have fun. We can do a great show. We can do a good show without you guys. You guys make it a great show. Especially when y'all start getting funny in the comments, and I just rewatched our episode that we did about Stacey Abrams that got banned because I was looking for it to see where our violations were. But spoiler alert, there were none. But like, Cade dropped the comment in the comment section, in the chat section on that one, and Cameron and I both fell apart laughing. And going back and watching it, it was funnier watching the two of us laugh than what we were saying at the time that happened in the video. Thank you so much for all your participation, guys. Thank you so much for watching the show every day. I want to ask you to take it a step further. Make sure you like the video, share the video. If you're not already subscribed, do that on YouTube. Go to Facebook and follow us there. And then any of the alternative media you're on, almost all of it, we're already there. PocketApp.net, Odyssey, BitChute, all of those. Follow us there. Help us build those subscriber bases. Here's what I want to see. I want to blow up this subscriber base, get as big as we can on YouTube, and use that platform to push people off of YouTube to alternate platforms.
We still want subs on YouTube.
Dad says he doesn't see the tip button. The tip button doesn't show up while we're live, Dad. It shows up on the video after it posts to YouTube. That's something that I don't know if I can fix that. That's a piece of the program and how it works. So I'm about to go add the tip button to this video in just a second. So after we get off the air, it'll be there in a few minutes. So we've gone a little over. We've gone 10 minutes over today. Thank you so much for watching, and we love you guys. Hey, I think we just had a fantastic show, Cameron.
Did we really? Because I would have to agree.
I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? I'll go this far. I'll throw an extra one on the end of it.
Toto win, Toto win, Toto win, Toto win, Toto. I don't give a rat's ass what the hell you think.
That's right. That's right. All right. So, love you guys. We will see you tomorrow for Firearms Friday. Wear your white hats. Be safe out there.